Hello and good morning, everyone. My name is Lee Bennett. I'm one of the pre-sales consultants at Wolters Kluwer Tax and Accounting in the UK, and it is my pleasure today to be hosting the webinar covering CCH Document Management. As stated on the previous slide, this webinar will last around an hour, and there will be time at the end to answer some of your questions. So feel free to ask away throughout the GoToWebinar meeting panel. If we do run out of time at the end, I will answer questions separately. Also, to make this session as interactive as possible, given that it's a virtual webinar, I'll be asking some questions as we go through. Today's session is split into 4 areas as detailed on your screens right now. I'll be taking you through a short introduction to document management, what it means and the reasons why you should implement one, the advantages of CCH document management when used as part of the central suite of products and services. We'll take a look at the software itself, and finally finish off with any of those questions you've submitted throughout the session. Now, whether you've already used a document management system or whether you've yet to implement one, I'll take you through an overview of CCH Document Management. It will probably be quite a brief overview demonstration. If you want a more in-depth look at the software, obviously, please feel free to contact us. Now, I'm going to start off straight away with a couple of questions just to kick us off. So they will appear on your screen any moment now. So a very simple one to start off with. Do you currently use a document management solution? I'll leave the poll open for probably about 20 or so seconds, just so everyone gets a chance to register their vote. And then I'll also share the results with you as well. Okay, just a few more seconds. I think most of you have voted. And then just to share the results with you. So obviously there, the majority don't currently use a document management system at all at the moment. Okay, and straight on to question number 2. What software do you use to maintain your master client database? CCH Central, Iris, Digita, Sage, or other? And again, I'll give about 20 or so seconds just to collect all the votes in. And just a few more seconds. Okay, and just to share those results as well. What's that, about 2/3, just over 2/3 currently use Central, 6% use Iris, and 28% use something else. Okay, excellent. So there are a number of reasons why you should look to implement a document management solution. Some we've listed here. It's not an exhaustive list, and you may have some other reasons. In fact, one of the other reasons I heard just the other day, I haven't heard it for a while really, but it was to free up some office space to fit more people in, to do more chargeable work. Maybe it's just to go green and save some paper. A less paper office rather than a paperless office. I'm not sure we're ever going to get to that stage. But whatever your reason for looking to implement a document management system, we can help you. So third question, we're going to get through these questions, the first few questions quite quickly. So the third question that I'm going to ask you guys, what are your top reasons for looking at CCH document management today? And you can answer more than one. Okay, again, just a few more seconds. Okay, it's going to close the poll now and share the results. Again, the majority looking at secure document exchange and GDPR, so client portal type facilities. Integration, quite a key one as well. Document mobility, so I guess there the ability to take documents away from the office while you're not logged in to the software. Disaster recovery and other reasons. Okay, there'll be a question. That's the first 3 questions done. I've got one final question, but that will be towards the end of the session. So I guess the next question is, why CCH Document Management? Well, historically, documents and files would all be stored in a number of locations. Paper files, fairly obviously, network drives, they're still being used in abundance, and the other regular one that we're here at the moment, obviously, is via email. And pretty much all document management systems can do this. So why CCH? Well, CCH Document Management allows the users to add all practice documents into one central area. It's not just for client documents. Literally any and all documents have a place in CCH Document Management. It's easy and efficient and quick to search for your documents wherever they may be, and also to see what actions are being taken. See who's dealing with a document at any point in time. Using your standard CCH Central homepages, you can track who is dealing with a document. There's an audit trail and version control, which means that you are fully legally admissible. And of course, it is going to help with your GDPR compliance. That was one of the main reasons that came up just a few seconds ago in the question that I asked. And because CCH Document Management forms part of the rest of the CCH suite of solutions, for those of you that are currently using Central, it hopefully goes without saying that there is full and deep integration with the other modules of Central. So the likes of tax returns, sets of accounts, bills are all saved in the client file at the touch of a button. And it uses the names and addresses already populated within CCH Central to allow you to generate letters. In fact, letters can be automatically generated and routed through to the correct person who needs to review them before they're sent to the client, electronically, of course, using secure document exchange. So it's time for the demonstration now. So just a short intro, it's time for the demonstration. This is probably where I'm going to be spending most of today's session. I'll be going through, as I said, at quite high level through these different areas. Email filing, document creation, document scanning, obviously then searching for the documents, integration with the other CCH modules I've just mentioned. I'm going to be using the tax return as an example, and then secure document exchange, and also document mobility would fall into that as well. So here we are within CCH Central. This is where all of the modules that we supply within our suite now reside or have connections with into the central database. And obviously landing on my homepage as I am at the moment, it's showing me, I've designed it to show me a list of all of the tasks that have been assigned to me. Now this is populated through CCH Central's workflow facility that we have. And the reason why I've just brought it up, all of the tasks at the moment are to do with me doing some work, so doing a set of accounts or doing tax returns. But as we go through, we'll see that the system can then automatically populate the task system with document related tasks. Whatever that document happens to be, wherever it's originated from, if somebody needs to be alerted or somebody needs to do something with that particular document, the relevant person can be notified through their home pages. Now, the first area that I'm going to go through is going to be scanning. So up at the top here on my menu, I've got a scan button. So we do have a fully integrated scanning facility within Central. Obviously, I don't have a scanner attached to my machine at the moment, but in true, I guess, Blue Peter style, here are some scans that I've populated on the left-hand side already. So I've got a number of different documents. Once they're scanned in, they will appear as thumbnails, as you can see on my screen, so I can see what it's about, see who it's for. If I've managed to scan it upside down, back to front, whatever it happens to be, I do have the ability to rotate left and rotate right. You also have the ability to merge pages to form one single document. So if all of these pages that I've got down the left-hand side were actually one document, then I can just merge them together. On the flip side of that, I can also split them. So if I've scanned them in as one bulk scan, but actually they relate to different clients or different documents for the same client, I do have the ability to split. You've also actually got the ability to automate that. It is possible to print off scanning sheets, which will automatically identify the start and the end of each document. But once we've got the documents in here, all I then need to do is add them to the system. And by adding them to the system, we are effectively profiling that particular document. Now, as I mentioned as part of the introduction, document management isn't just used for client-related documents. So you can set up what we refer to as being libraries. So in my system, I do have a client library. I've got an employee filing area. I've got an internal area for practice-related documents. I've got a knowledge base, and I've also got a pending area. The pending library is used if the person that's doing the scanning doesn't necessarily know which client the document relates to, or even who's going to be dealing with that particular letter. So it's kind of a holding area that somebody else can then pick up and then finish off the profiling screen. Now, this screen is fairly standard throughout document management when you go to add a new document. So it's going to be asking for various bits of information. Again, I probably won't go through every single field that you can see on the screen, but obviously we've got things like the file name, can be edited to make it more meaningful, obviously, to the user. And because I'm adding it to my client library, it is going to be asking me for the contact or the client name where I want it to end up. So what does this Barclays interest certificate, who does it relate to? Because of the integration in Central, obviously, we can go and search for the different contacts and the different clients that we have within the database. So I'm just going to add the first one there to James Riddle. And then optionally, we can also then choose an assignment and a job that we might want to tag the document against. So assignments, for those of you that don't use Central, assignments are the services that you provide to your clients, and a job is just a bit of an analysis of what that assignment is. So if I was to choose personal tax for this one, and then the job might be the 2016 return. And then the final item I've got on here that I'm just going to point out is the type. So basically, what is this document all about? Is it, in my case, correspondence? Is it something to do with the tax return? So these are just tags that we can apply to a document which will aid in obviously the filing, but also then the retrieval, the searching of that document once it's come back. So I'm just going to put this under tax return. I could give it a description as well if I wanted to. Again, that would aid in any searching that I'm doing. And it'll be exactly the same for the rest of the documents that I have. We've also got the ability to auto-populate. So if all of these documents did relate to the first client and I wanted them to appear in the same place, then auto-populate will effectively do a copy down facility. Obviously from here, I could then change these. So I could put that to accountancy. I could then put that to accounts, whatever it happens to be. I've got the ability to change where these things are going to be filed to. Now I am going to change this one. I'm going to put this for Jack Smith in my case, and I'm just going to leave it under correspondence. Now down at the bottom of the screen, you'll see that we've got this workflow area. Workflow allows you, as I mentioned in the intro, it allows you to control where this document needs to go. So routing of this document through a specific process that you would put in place. So the system, for example, can alert certain people that documents in this case have been scanned. So it could be the post that's coming in the morning. Everything's going to get scanned in bulk. Somebody will go through and identify which client does it relate to and who needs to know that that piece of post has come in. I've got a workflow set up to scan to partner. So what workflow will do is automatically identify who the partner is for each of my contacts or clients in this case, and it will send them a task on that homepage that I showed you, the very first thing that I had when I went into Central. So click OK. The system will then go and profile all of those documents. We're finished with scan, so we can go back to our main homepage, and it will start to then process those as workflow items. And obviously the actual document that we've scanned will then appear in that particular client's file. So there you'll see the very first document come through for Jack Smith, who belongs to me. I'm the partner. It's the PAYE coding notice, as we've seen, picks it up from the document name, and it's my responsibility to review and possibly reassign that document to whoever needs to deal with it. And you can see that we can also automate things like deadline dates within workflow. I've got till tomorrow to go and do that. Now, if I go into the client record, and again, those of you who are familiar with Central, the 2/3 of you that are familiar with Central will recognize this particular screen. Document management appears like all of the other modules within our suite as a separate tab within the client record. So in this case, it's going to be the document center. The document center is going to show me all the documents that I've saved, generated, filed away for this particular client. You'll see I've only got a handful at the moment, but there, right there in the middle, is the correspondence file, that PAYE coding notice .pdf, so it converts it to a PDF. And I can also see from here a task has been generated. It's been generated by me, and it's been reassigned to me as well. And obviously that's what's come through from my task list from my main dashboard. So that's one area. We'll probably come back, well, we will definitely come back to the document center a few times, and I'll show you how to do some searching and retrieval of documents from within here as well. But the next area that I just wanted to touch on was emailing. Still obviously very prevalent. Clients are still going to be emailing you stuff, whatever that stuff happens to be. And you'll see I've just opened up Outlook, got my standard inbox in front of me. But what you'll notice is on the bottom left-hand corner of my screen, we've got the CCH email filing add-in. And what this will do, it links directly to CCH Central, and it will go and identify the clients based on their email address. So if I just click into Denmark, for example, you'll see down the left-hand side, it will go away and find the record relating to Denmark within Central. And if I scroll down my inbox, you'll see those names will automatically change. It's basically doing a lookup to see if that email address exists within Central. And obviously it will do in my case. Now you'll notice that not only does it bring up the record of, in this case, Slim Jim Baxter, but it also comes back with other matches, so Stan Laurel, in this case, WK FRS 102 Limited, Humber and Northeast Metropolitan. The system is picking that up from the associations that you may have already within Central. Obviously, Central is a contact database, Central client database, which allows you to link clients and contacts together. The idea behind this is that although the email has come from Slim Jim Baxter, it might be something to do with the limited company of which he is a director. So rather than saving under his personal record within Central, you might want to save it under the limited company record within Central. Now you can actually save it in both areas should you so wish to do so. Now there are different ways of implementing email filing. I probably won't have time to go through every single option that there is, but to simply save this email, you literally just drag and drop over the top of the record where you want it to be saved. Now in my system, I've switched on kind of automated filing. So as soon as I do that drag and drop, you'll see that the email itself in the inbox gets a little tick in the box to show me that it has been saved within document management. Now, if there were other people on the email as well, so if Slim Jim Baxter in this case sent it to 2 or 3 people within my practice, as soon as the first person saves that email within document management, everyone else would also have that tick in their box once their inbox gets refreshed, so they know that they don't also need to save it, because obviously you don't want to have lots of exactly the same copies of the same document, in this case an email, within the system. And then down at the bottom of the screen you'll see this little section will then open up. It tells me who saved it, where it was saved, when it was saved. Now again, there's a few defaults within here. So for example, just by dragging and dropping, it's going to automatically put it into the correspondence file for my particular client. I could make that process a little bit more manual. So if I were to switch off the automated filing, it would present me with that profiling screen similar to the one that we saw for scanning, which allows me to obviously edit then where exactly it's going to be saved. So if I wanted it to go to a type email, or if this was type bookkeeping, because it's to do with the bookkeeping for this particular client, it allows me to do exactly that. But just to get it nice and easily within the document management system against the client, dragging and dropping is by far and away the quickest way to do that. For outgoing emails, again, there's a couple of choices that you can set up. In my case, I've decided to give myself the choice of whether or not I want to save outgoing emails. So you'll see that I've got 2 send buttons. I've got the regular send, the normal button that you'd find within Outlook, which will do exactly that. It will just send it. Or I've got the ability to send and file, which will stop me at the point of sending and say, well, again, where do I want it to be saved, against which client, if I didn't want to do it automatically, and against which type that we have within there as well. And again, that information will just automatically flow now directly into the client's document center, in this case for Slim Jim Baxter. So that's a brief overview of email filing. The next one I want to just touch on is actually document creation. A lot of document management systems don't actually do this, so this is actually quite a good area to show you within CCH Document Management. And because, as I said, it's built within obviously Central, and Central holds names and addresses, it does allow us to create documents either manually or, as I said, you can actually get the system to automate that particular process, again using the workflow facilities that we have within Central. Now, to show you how quick and easy it is to create a new document, the client that I'm in at the moment, Jack Smith, let's go and do it for him. So at the top there on my ribbon, I've got a create option. Slightly different screen, because it's obviously asking for slightly different information. First thing it's asking for is what template do you want to use? So you can hold obviously as many different templates as you need to within the system. They're generally going to be Word or Excel. You can see some of the examples that I've got. And you can also see a little preview panel there on the right hand side, so you can see whether it is the correct template that you want to pick up. In my case, let's go and do an engagement letter for this particular client. So just pick it up, click OK. We can change the file name. It will automatically default to be the template name, but I'm going to call it engagement letter for Jack Smith. And again, we've got the option to save it under an assignment or a job, or even just a type. In this case, I'm just going to leave it under correspondence in my case. And again, you can put a description against it. Now again, down at the bottom, you'll see that it's automatically selected a workflow, and it knows which workflow I want to use, because that's the one that we've attached to this particular document template. So the user really doesn't have to think about what it is that they're necessarily doing. They're just creating an engagement letter based on the template. They know it needs to go through document approval, and it will be the rules that you set up within the document approval workflow which will dictate what needs to happen to it next. So the next step is to tell the system, well, where is it that you're sending it? Who are you sending it to? You can see some other information there that you might want to fill in as well. But then we've got this little tick box down at the bottom of the screen. Do you want to leave the document checked out after creation? And this is basically, do you at this point in time need to edit that document, or are you literally just sending it as it would come out, as that template would come out, obviously pre-populated with names and addresses, to the next person in the workflow? So I'm gonna, I'll untick that and I'll just click finish. So behind the scenes, the system will have created that engagement letter based on my template. You'll see that it's automatically then populated it within correspondence, like I told it to. The system will generate a preview image on the right-hand side. That image can be made bigger, and you can actually push it onto different screens. So if you use 2 or 3 screens, you'll probably be able to see a bit more detail, depending on the size of your screen that I've got today. But again, the system will have automatically attached a task to that particular document. In this case, for me to go and do something with. So there's my PAYE coding notice, there's the engagement letter. My option is to review it. So as you can see, I'm just going to open up the task itself. Obviously, I've got links here to go away and open up the document if I need to go and review it. If I've got the permission to do so, I could reassign this task and therefore the review of this particular document to somebody else within my practice, or I can just take that action myself. So in my case, only 2 options that I've built within my workflow. I either approve it and therefore it's okay to be sent to the client, or I want somebody to make some amendments. I want it to be redrafted. If I click approve, the system will then complete that task. It will then complete any actions associated with that particular workflow, with that particular document. In my case, it will actually take 2 further automated actions on that document. It will now convert it to a PDF, as you can see, and it will then lock that document down. So amendments to not only the document itself, but the document properties can't be amended unless I've got the ability to subsequently unlock that particular document. But again, that would be kind of not hidden away, but that would be down to security and task permissions. And then from here, I can then decide, well, what do I want to then do with this particular document? How do I want to send it to my clients? Workflow could do this. You could tell Workflow that it's either going to be obviously printed and sent to your client. You could get the system to attach it to an email and send it to your client, or you could actually get the system to automatically publish it up to the client portal. Again, that's something that Workflow would enable you to do. We'll come back, we'll actually look at publishing to portal a bit later. I'm going to use a tax return as that example. But within your extras field, and again, for those of you that use Central, hopefully you'll be familiar with the concepts of the extra fields. Within the extra fields, you can detail what your client's preference is as to how they want particular documents to be delivered to them. Workflow can read what those extra fields say and then take appropriate action. So that's document creation. I'm probably going to move on to searching for documents now whilst we're in the document center, and I'm also going to use our global documents area as well. Now for this one, I'm actually just going to switch to a different client that probably has a few more documents. So I'm going to go and find my standard client, if you like, Mr. James Riddle, and I'm going to go to his document center. You'll see he's got more documents in than Jack, sorry. Now, the document center itself can be personalized. You can decide what information you want to see when you first go in. This is what I've decided I want my document center to look like. So nice and kind of clean and simple. I've got the file name, I've got the upload date, a few icons there, whether it's locked, whether there's a task, whether there's an attachment, and I've also got a portal approval little area as well, which we'll come back to. And you'll see that I've got mine grouped by type. So here's my accounts folder, here's my bill sent to client folder, here's my correspondence folder. To do any searching, over on the right-hand side, I've got a little search panel. Now I've got mine being kind of, you fly in and you fly out, probably just because of the width of my screen. You can have it pinned there all the time if you want to. So if you are doing lots of searching, one of the quickest ways to go and do that. Now, there's two ways of doing searching, and they can be combined. The first one, I suppose the simple one, is to search on the tags that you were applying when you added the document to the document management system in the first place. So if I knew that I was particularly searching for documents of type accounts, I can just obviously select it from the drop-down pick list and then click search. And in my case there, it will just isolate just that one document that's in that particular type. You can combine them. So I could say document type equals accounts, and the document date or the upload date, it was added within the last week or the last month. So it's just a way of refining the searching that you're doing. You've also got the ability to actually search based on the text within a document or within the document description or the file name. So if I knew that I was searching for something quite simple to do with tax, go and do your search, and the system will then find 13 documents for this particular client within the GDPR collection, for obviously GDPR purposes, and also within my correspondence file. If I wanted to also search on the document content, I can go and do that, tick the box, and in this case, it will then find 34 documents. And again, you'll see, obviously I've got more results there on the left-hand side. So this is where if you're scanning documents in, for example, the post, the system will apply OCR technology on the document to allow you to then do a full text search. If you are creating documents, so the engagement letter, somewhere in that engagement letter would be the word tax in this particular case. And as I said, you can combine them. So I could say it contains the word tax somewhere in there and it's of type correspondence, for example, and it will then go and find those two. So searching for documents is nice and quick and simple. And actually you can set up default searches. So for example, if you your primary job within your practice was to do tax returns, for example, you could set it up so as soon as you go into the document center for your clients, rather than have everything being displayed, the system will just go away and find the documents relating to tax returns. And then if it's something else that you want to go and have a look for, you can obviously change the searching criteria that you have. But obviously one of the ideas of Central, and this does flow through to document management and everything that we do, is to have a personalized approach as to how you want things to be displayed for you as a person based on your role within the practice. Okay, the next example, I'm going to combine a few different items within here. I'm actually going to produce a tax return from the system. So I'm going to show the integration from any of our products. I think I mentioned it at the beginning, from a tax return, from a set of accounts, whether it's practice management, whatever it happens to be. If the system is creating that document within Central, there'll be an option for you to then save it against that client within the document system, within the document center, within document management. So the example I'm going to use today is that tax return. I'm also going to then move out into secure document exchange. So that will answer your GDPR questions, hopefully. We'll have a look to see how that then appears from your client's point of view, the interaction that they can have with the practice. And I'll also bring in the mobile view. I think that came up on one of the questions that people wanted to have a look at as well. So we have what we call a practice mobile app for your users, for the employees within the practice to go and have a look at. So I'm going to go through probably all those different areas in one go. We're going to start with Jack Smith. So if I go into the tax returns area for Jack Smith, I'm going to go and open up his 2018 tax return. You'll see that we've already gone through, we've done some data entry, we've more or less completed the review stage of the tax return. We can see on the left-hand side, all but one of my sources of income has already been reviewed and locked down. You can see the little padlock. So I'm kind of comfortable that I'm going to be sending the tax return as a tax return bundle to my client. Now, I'm not going to go into too much detail about the tax return itself, because that's more obviously personal tax than kind of document management. But the point of this is that the system can automate the collateral that you would normally send to your client, including the covering letter. So the system can automate that based on the actual content of your client's tax return. But at the top of the screen, you'll see that I've got the option here to publish to one click and also publish to document management. Now, we don't need to go through both of those processes. If you publish anything to one click, it will automatically save it into the document management system as well. So publish to one click, you'll see, well, quite quickly there, the system will bring up a new message screen, kind of like looks like a simple email. But a couple of things to point out on here. Obviously, the system knows who the message is coming from. It's coming from me. I'm an authorized user of the messages and documents area within my practice. It's going to go to Jack Smith. It's going to go to this Jack Smith because I'm in his tax return. Importantly, it can't go to any other client. If I happen to have two Jack Smiths as a client within my practice, it doesn't allow me to send the wrong tax return to the wrong client. Just like an email, it will be asking for a subject and a message. But rather than sit there and type, I'm going to insert a template. These are the templates that we supply. You can create your own or edit ours, and it's obviously just pre-populated text. The system will do simple mail merges. So dear Jack, the year of the tax return, and also who the message is coming from. I can sit here and type any additional information that I wanted to for this particular client as well, for this particular message. Now, because we're sending the tax return in this case, if I click on the little paper clip, I want my client to electronically approve, or not as the case may be, that particular tax return. I could, if I wanted to at this point, then add any other documents to this message. So I could want to maybe send him the tax return and a copy of his bill at the same time. And there it is. So if I click on bill number 60 for this particular client and attach that, click OK, that's the message and the two attachments that I'm going to send. One, I want him to approve. Whether I'd want him to approve the bill, probably not. So I'm just going to click send in this case. Now, behind the scenes, the system will be carrying out a number of different processes and be doing different things with that particular document. So if I just come out of the tax system, go back to my client's record, first of all, you have a message center tab. So all of the messages, all of the documents that you're sending and receiving, obviously it's a two-way collaboration document exchange facility. All of those documents, all of those messages will be automatically captured in this area. Obviously, just today I've got the two messages. They're both outgoing at the moment. I've got a nice welcome message, which is automatically sent, and then obviously that personal tax return that I've just sent, as well as the bill that I've just sent as well. Now, those will also be shown under the Document Center tab. And in this case, there's the tax return that I've just sent. That's the one that I asked my client to approve through documents and messages. And you'll see at the moment, obviously the current status for that particular document is that it is pending. My client hasn't done anything. They haven't read it. They haven't responded to it at any point in time. That will automatically update, as we'll see. And obviously come probably December/January time, it will be very important for me to be able to identify all of the documents for all of the clients that I've sent, requiring their approval and their current status. And again, using either document management itself or actually using the reporting facility that we have within Central, I can then identify all of those particular documents. And again, we'll have a look at that once we've gone through the process. So what happens at the client's end? Well, the system will automatically send my client an email. So if I just open up my browser of choice, and I'm going to assume the role of Jack Smith now. If I access Jack Smith's Gmail account, the system will send an automatic email to the client to say there is a document waiting for you to go and have a look at, go and do something with, in this case, approve it. And you'll see as part of this email, there is a link for them to then access the secure documents and messages area of OneClick. OneClick is our new workspace that we delivered earlier on this year, both for you as a practice and also your clients to go and have a look at. That's obviously where they're going to be accessing the documents from. So if I click on this link, it will then open up OneClick. It will then ask my client to log in. So the login, it's asking for the email address. Obviously, that's the email address that I've got within Central, and also the password. The password, in this case, Jack will determine what it is. He will create it. If, for whatever reason, Jack manages to forget his password, you'll see there, there is the option to recreate it. And when we log in, Jack will get a dashboard. And from here, he can then go and access messages and documents. Now, just to explain what we're looking at the moment and why we've got Jack Smith and Smith Electrical Limited on this particular screen. Now, Jack within Central, he's associated to Smith Electrical Limited by virtue of being a director. So within my practice, I obviously need to be able to send documents and or messages to both Jack, because we act for him in a professional manner. We do his personal tax returns, we're doing his bills. He may be self-employed, so we can send him sets of self-employment sets of accounts, sole trader sets of accounts. But we also need him to be aware of things that we're doing for Smith Electrical Limited. So its limited company sets of accounts, its corporation tax return, its bills, for example. And the one thing that we wanted to make sure when we were designing how this would work and be used for our clients is that we only wanted them to log in once. So Jack logs in once, he gets to see all of the different associations possibly that we've set up within Central. He could be a partner of a partnership, a beneficiary of a trust, for example. Now, obviously, I'm accessing this collaboration portal, the OneClick environment, through a standard web browser. But if he was using an iPad or a phone, a smartphone or something, the system will redraw itself. It's aware of the device that he's looking at, and it will redraw itself so it looks nice. It doesn't look like it's a web page shrunk into the size of a phone. And then from here, he can take a number of different choices. He can look at the messages, he can look at the documents, or he can just go to the documents that he needs to approve. In our case, let's look at the messages. Obviously, the two messages that we have, the initial welcome message and that personal tax return with those two attachments. So there's the message that we've sent, and you'll see at the bottom there the attachments, the bill, and also the tax return. And you'll notice the tax return actually has a little tick box by the side of it. And this is what's prompting my client to then approve or reject that particular document. You'll see the two buttons down in the bottom right-hand corner at the moment. They're grayed out because we haven't ticked the box yet. Now, it could be that Jack just wants to enter into some kind of conversation with us. He doesn't want to either approve or reject, but maybe he has questions around the bill or obviously the tax return. But in an ideal world, Jack would come into here, he would tick the box and then approve the tax return. But actually, he can't do that unless he's at least viewed the document prior to ticking the box, which kind of makes sense. Why would you want to approve something if you've not yet read it? So if we click on the link, obviously you'll see it downloads as per normal, and there's a copy of the bundle that I've generated and sent. So a 22-page document. Most of it is going to be the tax return, but this is where that covering letter can be automated, as I mentioned. So based on the actual content, and you can see that you can view the data that the system can pick up from the tax return. We can see He doesn't need to go to the last page of the tax computation, whatever it happens to be, to see what his total tax due is. Now, that's obviously quite a simple template that I've used in my case. You can make it almost as complex, comprehensive as you need it to be. They're based on your rules. They're based on the contents of your client's tax returns. Now, as I said, this 22-page document is mostly going to be the tax return and the backing schedules, but not entirely. Obviously, we've got the covering letter, but also, if I scroll right to the end of that PDF, we've also got a document activity report. So any PDF that you send to your clients, this can be automatically attached to the back of it, and it will show you and your client, you get a version of this within Central as well, the activities that have been carried out. Obviously, at the moment, the document has just been sent, but that will be updated with it's been viewed, and we're going to approve it. It will be updated for it has been approved. So if there's any question mark around your client saying, I didn't receive this, I don't remember reading that, I didn't mean to tick the box to approve the tax return or reject it, you can say, well, this is exactly when you did do it, Mr. Client, because not only do we have proof, but you have proof as well on that document. So in my case, we're going to assume that Jack is happy with that tax return, so we can now tick the box. He can now approve, or as I said, reject. But let's go ahead and approve it. As part of that process, he needs to put his password in again and click approve. Now, if he were to reject that document, the only difference is that he needs to give a reason why he's not wanting to approve, why he is rejecting that document. But that is just free format text. So once that's been done, obviously the status of that particular document on his side, on the client side, will be updated to be approved. Plus, you also get notification back within the practice. And that can be done in a number of different ways, in fact. So I'm just going to come out of the collaboration portal. And in fact, one of those ways has just popped up on the screen. If you're in Central and a client sends you a message or a document, in this case, then you'll see that little pop-up. Just like you would in Outlook, you get a little message to say an email has arrived. In this case, the document has been approved. It will disappear after a few seconds or so. I think either 5 or 10, but you can change that within the system, unless, as I'm doing, you're hovering your mouse over it just to keep it on the screen. So you would get that notification. You can also decide that you want an email. So in exactly the same way that Jack received an email when we sent him his tax return, any messages coming back to you would appear in your Outlook. It would just be a very standard message. It would still direct you to CCH Central to go and have a look at that message and to deal with that message, whatever it happens to be. We've also got within Central itself the ability to have a portal messages inbox. So for me as an individual user, I've received 2 messages, one from Smith Electrical Limited, something to do about a stock take, and one from Jack Smith, which would be the one that he's just sent, the approval of the tax return. Now, one big advantage of using and having an inbox for portal messages is that it does nice and easily give you the ability, perhaps, to look into other people's document inboxes. So unlike email, where it's quite a bit of a rigmarole really to go and access other people's inboxes, depending on how you've all got it set up, within here it is nice and easy. So if you know that somebody is away on holiday or they're off sick, but you need to still be monitoring any messages that come back, you can just set up a portal inbox, choose their name from the list of employees within the practice, and there you go. Nice and easy. What it will also do, go back into Jack Smith's record, go back to the message center, automatically captured the incoming message there, the approval status. And again, if I go back to the document center, just refresh that, you'll see the portal approval status has now been marked as approved. And actually, you'll see if I move over my mouse, it turns into a hyperlink. If you click that hyperlink, it will tell you exactly who approves it. Obviously, in this case, it is Jack, because it says individual record that I'm looking at, when it was approved. If he did reject it, the reason for the rejection would come into here as well. And then literally everything, as you can see then, is in one place. Not only the bills, any emails that I've got, the PDFs, the Excel files, whatever you want to store within this document center, you can. Now, I did also mention that you've got the ability to search for a document wherever it happens to be within the document management system. So if you know that it's there, but maybe you don't know which client it relates to, or you want to do one of these global searches for all of the portal documents, right at the top of the screen here, we have a documents button. Pretty much exactly the same facilities that we saw before within a client. Obviously, the exception is it doesn't know what to display as a default. It will literally allow you to search for any document against any library, against any entity that you have within the system. So I'm going to do a few things in here. Actually, I'm going to do a search, and I'll use the same one that I did before. So search for anything to do with the word tax, wherever it happens to be. And you'll see that it will bring across there a number of different clients. In my case, I've got Lucy, I've got Dan, I've got James, and I've got Jane being displayed at the moment. But if I then wanted to expand that for any document that contains the word tax within it, it will then go and find some others. So Slim Jim Baxter there, I've got an email being displayed, a bunch of other clients that you can see as well. But also as part of this, as I mentioned, come December/January, you might want to see which documents are at what stage if you've sent them through the secure document exchange facility. So I'm going to go and have a look for all of mine that are approved, click search, and you'll see there I've got 2 clients that I've got a secure document exchange facility for. In this case, they are both tax returns. But that could be sets of accounts. It could be anything that I've sent that I require my client to either approve or reject. Obviously, I can change the little criteria that I'm using within here to be either pending, approved, or rejected. So that covers, well, covers quite a lot really. So we've got scanning, we've done emailing, document creation, we've done searching, both within a client and globally. We can add documents, obviously from within Central. We can publish those out to be sent securely to my clients. If they need to be approved, they can. Probably the last one that I think was on a few people's list, in fact, I've still got it on screen, 56% of you were interested in document mobility. So it's probably the right time to introduce our newest app, which is the Practice Mobile app. Now, what I'm just going to do is drag onto my screen basically what my phone is currently showing me. And the one that we're going to be looking at today, Practice Mobile. So in Practice Mobile, and this is available to anybody within the practice. Once as a practice, you've signed up for OneClick, which is where our secure document and exchange facility is housed. Any one of your users can have the Practice Mobile at no extra cost, which is probably great news. It's going to ask me for 3 bits of information. You'll see 2 of them we can save. So the name of my practice effectively is Lee Bennett 2018-1. Me as a user, what's my username, lee.bennett@watersclewer.com, and then what my password is, which I'm not going to tell you. If I log in, it will then take me to my little dashboard, and I won't go through I won't go into every single item, but I'll just explain what they are. So messages will allow me to see all of the messages that have been sent or received to and from me via the secure document exchange facility. This would be a global level. Tasks would be, well, the tasks that have been assigned to me within the system. We haven't quite implemented that, so I'm not going to show you that one. Documents would be that global document center. So I will actually just click into here. this is going to show me all of the documents that are within my practice. It's not going to display every single one of them, because obviously it will take a while for that to display on this screen. So the last few ones that you've accessed or that were added to the document system, but I can, down at the bottom of the screen, start to search for those particular documents should I so wish to do so. But actually, probably one of the quickest and easiest and best ways is to go through the contacts area. And hopefully, as it suggests, it's going to show me or allow me to access all of the contacts stroke clients that I've got within Central. Again, it's not going to load up every single client or contacts when you first go into it, only the last few or so that you've accessed, so just the last 3 in my case. But again, down at the bottom, you can do a search based on the name or the client code that you're using within Central. And if I go into, in my case, obviously Jack Smith is the one that we're mainly working on today. There's 3 different areas that you can see, well, kind of 4 different areas that you can see within here. So some primary information around the client, their email address, telephone number if they had one, their address, their physical address that you've got within here. Any associated contacts that you've got set up within Central will also be displayed. But over on the left-hand side, this is going to be my message center for this particular client. So obviously the 2 messages that I've got on record for this client. So again, that welcome message and also the personal tax return that I've sent and it's been approved. I could also start and instigate a new message with Jack. So I don't need to be in Central. I don't need any kind of connection to Central itself. I just need an internet connection on my phone or iPad, whatever it happens to be that you're using this facility from. But also, you've got the document center. So these are all the clients that I've currently got within my client's document center. Again, I can do searching. So if I had more than the 8 that it's currently telling me I have for this particular client, again, I can do various searches. I can do various filtering, again, based on the tags that we use to profile those documents in the first place. So literally, if you're out and about, you need to have access to your client's correspondence file, tax file, whatever it happens to be, you've got it. These documents, just to be clear, these documents are being read directly from the document management system. These aren't the documents that I've shared with my client through secure document exchange. Remember, I only shared 2 of those documents, which was the tax return and the bill within here. So I've got access to any and all of those documents. So that's the Practice mobile app. Let's just move that back out of the way. Now, as I said, that's I suppose a fairly high-level overview of the document management system. Actually, not too bad in terms of quite a bit of depth there. But if you want more in-depth information around document management, obviously feel free to get in contact, and either myself or one of my colleagues would be delighted to come out and see you. So that's a demonstration, just probably a few more slides to get through. I know we're running a little bit short of time. If you do have any questions, by the way, you can still submit them through your GoToWebinar panel that should be on your screen, or probably on the side of your screen. But as we've already discussed, there are a number of reasons why you should implement a document management system. And obviously that comes with some kind of investment, either time or money, or probably obviously a little bit of both. And as part of that, you will be looking to get something back on that investment. We've just listed a couple of ones there, but here is another example of just one element of the usage of document management. So we're obviously using just kind of conservative numbers, but let's say that you've got a 10-employee practice. Each of those employees search for 10 documents a day. Without a document management system, let's say that it takes 4 minutes to go and find a document. So that's getting up at your desk, finding the file, locating the document, and then going back to your desk. With CCH Document Management, obviously, this is still going to take a bit of time, but let's say that it takes you a minute to go and find that same document by doing a search. You don't need to leave your desk, it's just already there. So a saving of 3 minutes. Based on what charge out rates, and obviously this is obviously going to change. We've used probably quite a conservative one there, £40 per hour. But based on that, you might be losing out on £200 of lost chargeable time per day, which then equates to £1,000 a week or even £46,000 a year. And that's just searching for a document. When you also think about the time saving in document creation, cost savings from not posting documents, using Secure Document Exchange instead, the peace of mind from using Secure Document Exchange and storage costs, not having to think about whether an email has been sent or received, or whether it's been actually filed properly within document management. So the days of thinking of a document management system as a nice to have are probably over. Kind of 20 years ago or so, when we first introduced a document management system within our suite, it probably was a nice to have at that point. But now it really is a must have, not only to speed up the processes, such as searching for documents, but also to make sure documents aren't lost or accidentally destroyed. So disaster recovery, to ensure you have processes in place to delete and destroy documents, to help you with the GDPR compliance, the automation of the document creation, the automation of the document approval before it's allowed to be sent to the client, is all taken care of within CCH Document Management. So just to recap, we've seen this slide a little bit earlier, but just to recap, when you're looking for a document management system, you will have some obvious ideas in mind as to what you want to achieve. And maybe part of this webinar, you've been given some extra ideas as to what the system, or what a document management system, and obviously in particular CCH Document Management, can do for you. So my last question for you, we have one final question that I would like you to just quickly answer. Which areas of CCH Document Management that you've seen today are of most interest? Document scanning, email filing, document creation, secure document exchange, and practice mobile. Again, just a few more seconds. Okay, I'll close it and then share it. And probably, no great surprise, the secure document exchange is by far and away, and I think this goes back to an earlier question, what you were most looking for, and hopefully it has been of interest and of use looking at that today. So now it's just time for a couple of your questions. I think we've probably only got time for a couple as it happens. So the first one, do you convert from other document management systems? Yes, we do. We have converted from a number of other systems, proper document management systems, as well as actually you can import from a standard Windows folder structure. I know quite a lot of people will use that as well. We do have a dedicated data conversion team. Obviously, we'd be more than happy to come and discuss details of what systems you currently use a bit further with you. And then probably the final question, do you limit the number of documents which can be exchanged with clients? No, the answer to that is quite a simple no. We want to encourage its use. We want you to use secure document exchange, obviously from your point of view and also your client's point of view. Once those documents have been shared with your clients, unless you want to retrieve them and unpublish them, they should be there for your clients literally to go and access 24/7. Kind of gone are the days where they should be asking you for duplicate copies of sets of accounts because their bank needs them or they've lost them, whatever. They just need to get them as soon as they can. So that's it, time's upon us. We're 5 minutes over time, I do apologise. The webinar has been recorded and a link to it will be circulated to you tomorrow. So I'd just like to wrap up by saying thank you for your time and your attention this morning. Good morning and goodbye.